Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a big one, maybe even the forbidden question in finance right now. Is crypto actually the future of money? Or is it maybe just an expensive way to cosplay as a Wall Street genius while, losing your rent money on a coin shaped like a dog?
Yeah, that puts it bluntly.
Well, we're diving into a pretty strong perspective today, drawing heavily from finance expert Richard J. Murphy, and he definitely leans towards the latter. He argues crypto has, and I quote, all the stability of a Jenga tower in an earthquake and about as much intrinsic value as a Beanie Baby collection.
Oof. Yeah, that's quite the stance. He doesn't pull any punches.
Not at all. It sounds exciting, right?
Yeah.
Saying you're in blockchain. But Murphy suggests at the end of the day, you might just be holding, well, digital air.
That's the core of his critique, really.
So stick with us. You won't lose any money here, maybe just a little time. And hey, at least you'll sound smart at parties, right? Okay, let's unpack this.
Sounds good. What's really fascinating here from Murphy's viewpoint is that this isn't just about tech. He argues it's built on something else entirely, almost an ideology.
Right. Let's start with that foundation then, or lack thereof. Crypto's actual worth. Murphy calls cryptocurrencies the giant economic contract of our age, but says they provide nothing in exchange. What's behind that? Nothing at all.
Yeah, it's a fundamental challenge to their value. He argues, traditional money, it's backed by something government trust, assets, economic activity. Crypto, he says, has literally nothing at all backing it.
So the complex process of creating it, the mining, that doesn't count.
Not in his view, no.
Yeah.
He uses this analogy of alchemy. Just because you expend a ton of energy solving complex math problems like trying to turn lead into gold, it doesn't magically create real-world value. The complexity or the energy spent doesn't equal worth.
So all that effort just leads to digital air.
That's his provocative term for it, yeah, digital air.
Wow. Okay, so if it's not valuable in that intrinsic sense, how does it fail as actual money, according to him?
Well, think about what money needs to do, right? Be a medium of exchange, easy to swap. A unit of account, easy to price things. And a store of value holds its worth. Murphy argues crypto bombs on those last two, especially storing value. It makes it utterly useless as real money.
Because of the volatility.
Exactly. It's far too volatile.
Yeah.
How can you reliably exchange something if neither you nor the seller knows what it'll be worth tomorrow or even later today?
Right. You can't price goods reliably.
You can't. We want stability in our dollars or euros, right? We fight inflation. But with crypto, the profound instability is often the attraction for speculators trying to make a gain. It's a paradox.
So that very instability makes it absolutely useless as a basis for pricing goods and services.
Pretty much. Which leads him to conclude it just isn't money at all.
Which then begs the question, if it isn't money, what is it? What's it good for?
Well, this is where the critique gets maybe more pointed, more controversial.
He makes a pretty bold claim, doesn't he? That crypto is actually good for criminal activity.
He does. He specifically mentions its widespread use in the trade in illicit drugs as, like, one of its main applications.
Well, what about the blockchain? Isn't it supposed to be transparent? Completely auditable, proponents say?
Yeah, that's the common line. But Murphy pushes back hard on that. He argues that just seeing transactions isn't enough. To prove what happened, who did what, you'd need codes for every participant linked to real identities.
Which you usually don't have, right? It's pseudonymous.
Exactly. And that lack of real traceability, paradoxically, makes it really useful if you want to money launder and undertake fraud. So much for perfect transparency.
That definitely flips the script on transparency. And this links back to what you mentioned earlier, the ideology behind it.
It does, yeah. He suggests crypto appeals heavily to those who are trying to avoid laws and taxes. And he draws a strong link between tax havens and cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And then there's the politically charged part. He argues there's a strong link between cryptocurrency and those from the far right of politics.
The anti-government, anti-regulation types?
Yes. Those who are anti the establishment. He claims this is driven by so-called libertarian ideology. Now, it's important we stress this is Murphy's interpretation, and he controversially frames that ideology itself as something seeking to undermine that order and destabilize our economies, our banks, and our institutions.
Right, so we're reporting his view here, not endorsing it. But it paints a picture of crypto being more than just code. It's tied to a specific worldview.
Definitely. It's not just about economics. It's about a whole way of seeing the world, according to this analysis.
So if crypto isn't really money, and it has these links to illicit use and specific ideologies, What about the average person using it? What happens when things go wrong?
Ah, yeah, the safety net, or rather the complete lack of one. That's a huge focus for Murphy.
Unlike dollars or pounds.
Exactly. With traditional currencies, you have legal tender, central banks, a lender of last resort, deposit insurance, ways to protect people if a bank fails.
But with crypto,
Nothing. There's no backstop if things go wrong. If your crypto exchange collapses or the coin itself fails, you basically are on your own.
and this comes down to the absence of regulation.
Precisely. Cryptos operate in legal gray areas. There are often no consumer protection rights, which, he argues, creates this massive opportunity for exploitation.
And beyond the individual, he warns about bigger economic risks.
Yeah, the idea that if crypto really took off, central banks lose control of the money supply, that could potentially lead to a real risk of massive inflation.
He calls it the ultimate neoliberal dream where all the risk is carried by the individual. That's quite a statement.
It is. Think about losing your password or having your crypto wallet hacked or stolen. There's no help desk, there's no refund, there's no insurance. Boof, it's gone.
The ultimate rip-off possibility.
That's his phrase. And he contrasts it sharply with banks. Sure, banks make mistakes, but bank mistakes can be corrected.
Yeah.
But crypto transactions, once they're on the blockchain, according to him, they can't be reversed. It's irreversible risk, placed entirely on the user.
Wow. That total transfer of risk really stands out. But hang on, isn't the whole point of crypto supposed to be decentralization? Taking power away from central authorities?
The decentralization myth, as Murphy might call it.
He argues against it, says there's actually a hierarchy of power.
He does. He claims that despite the rhetoric, the crypto creator does actually hold all the power.
How so? What can they do?
Well, he gives examples. They can supposedly block users. They can even change the rules of blockchain itself. It's not as set in stone as people think.
Change the rules.
Yeah. And crucially, they can expand the numbers on the creation of currency and not seek anyone's consent. So that limited supply you thought you were buying into, maybe not so limited after all.
Which would obviously cause price volatility.
Exactly. It undermines the whole scarcity argument. So yeah, he really challenges that core promise of decentralization, suggesting that creators hold way more control than is often admitted.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, Murphy's critique is pretty comprehensive. What's his final takeaway? What is crypto, in his view?
His bottom line is blunt. It's just a game of financial speculation, period. No more or no less to it than that.
Not money, not meeting a real need.
Nope. He states clearly it's not money and not something that is ever going to meet a real-world need. His personal advice, again quoting him, is, I wouldn't go near it with a barge pole.
Strong words.
Very. And he connects it back to that ideology, calling it a dogma that seeks to destroy the society that you live in with all the protections that you enjoy. His big concern is that most people getting involved simply don't understand the risks.
Which really raises the question, doesn't it? Are people making genuinely informed choices here?
That seems to be his central worry. Are they buying into a narrative without grasping the potential downsides, especially that lack of any safety net?
Right. Well, that brings us towards the end of this deep dive. We've really explored Richard J. Murphy's critical perspective, the lack of value, the volatility, the links to crime and ideology, and crucially, the risks to individuals. Our goal here isn't to tell you what to think, but to help you be well-informed, cut through that noise, and understand the different layers of complex topics like cryptocurrency. Hopefully, we've done that today.
And maybe connecting it to the bigger picture, Murphy's points suggest we should look beyond just the tech novelty. Think about the underlying motivations, the structures, the ideologies behind any new financial system. It really makes you consider, what stands out to you about how trust and protection work in our current systems, and what are the real consequences when those things are just absent.
That's a great question to leave our listeners with. If all the risk truly falls on the individual, what does that imply for financial innovation going forward? And who, ultimately, should be responsible for protecting people in these new digital frontiers?
Lots to think about there. It's definitely not a simple picture.